In this video, I'm comparing Midjourney's new version 6.1 against version 6. I will put version 6.1 to an empirical, objective test focusing on natural language understanding, photorealism, accuracy of details, text rendering, and workflow improvements. Let's start with natural language understanding. This is about how well Midjourney can understand my prompt. The better the language comprehension, the better it becomes at combining and separating things. That's why I picked 6 challenges. These are a very basic prompt with a nice twist, multi-character rendering, unorthodox or unusual semantics, long word clusters with rich detailed descriptions to see how new model survives this. And I will also throw a bunch of random word clusters to the model and see what it does with them. Lastly, we will test the model's world knowledge. Let's start with a very basic prompt, but with a nice twist. I am writing this prompt: photo, a horse is riding a man, aspect ratio and style row. Let's hit enter. And as you can see, we are actually going to the new model now, 6.1. And let's see the results. So the first generation, I was expecting a horse is riding a man. It's of course an unusual prompt. And there are, I think, quite a lot of images in the training data where a man is riding a horse. So I can see just from the first try, I didn't get what I wanted. I will use same prompt also for version 6 now and see what it does. So I got similar result from version 6 as well. Of course, I can build the prompt in a different way. I can be more specific that horse on top of a man. I can increase the descriptions and add more details. But I just wanted to try with a simple prompt and see what it does. For both models, actually, I didn't get exactly what I was looking for. Let's continue with another prompt. Let's say photo of a woman is chasing a dog, and this time I will use stylized parameter to try Midjourney aesthetics as well. So I run this prompt in both models, and interestingly, most of the images, as you can see, we got a dog is actually chasing a woman. Only in V6, in one image, I can see a woman is actually behind of a dog. Just to be sure that I'm also rebuilding my prompt. Photo, a woman running behind the dog, and woman is behind the dog. So I'm being very, very specific about what I need and what kind of image I need. Let's run this. So the results are definitely improved because I was more specific with what I need. Now I have actually a woman behind the dog. So with adding more descriptions and details, now the results improved and I got what I want. But with the short semantics, that was a bit of a challenge. So now let's continue with challenge number 2, multi-character rendering. For this challenge, I picked this prompt where we have 2 different characters. They are sitting in a cafe and they have different outfits. Clearly, my expectation with this challenge is I want to understand better if new version 6.1 can differentiate 2 different characters in the scene with different outfits and assign right outfit to right character. So we have photo of 2 women sitting in a cafe. First woman has a red hair and full leather clothes, and second woman has a suit. And they are in intense discussion. Let's see. Here I have some interesting results. This is for version 6 and this is version 6.1. You can see for this prompt with multi-characters, actually version 6.1 did much better. I have a woman with red hair, a clear distinction, and she has a leather outfit, and the other character has a suit. And there is a bit of intense discussion here. So version 6.1 did much better in comparison to version 6, because in version 6, I have both of the characters with the red hair, and some of the images, both of them have leather outfits. In one, maybe there is a bit of a distinction, but this character still has kind of like a red hair. So I think for multi-character rendering, version 6.1 did much better with prompt understanding. For next challenge, we are looking into unorthodox or unusual semantics. I have this prompt: cinematic photo displaying friendship of a whale and a dragon. Despite their differences, they are still together. So the thing is, whale is from sea and dragon is, it can be from land or from air. And we don't really specify what's the medium that this photo will take place. And we are giving this prompt and see what the new model does with it. Okay, so I run this prompt for both models. For version 6.1, I got a very clear whale and a dragon, whale and a dragon. I have also one here. It's quite clear distinction. There is only one image where dragon is not really displayed and there is only whale. So this can be considered off, but in the 3 of the 4 images on the grid, I got a very close result to what I was expecting. For version 6, I have one here. This can be really usable one. It really looks like a dragon and whale is like a very clear. On the other images, there is a bit of morphing of whale and dragon to each other. The distinction is not super clear, and it makes sense. Also in the multi-character rendering, in the previous test, we also saw version 6.1 was quite successful with distinction of the characters. I see a similar trend also here. Okay, in the next challenge, we will look at unorthodox or unusual semantics. I have this prompt, and to keep things diverse, this time I will actually use Midjourney's default aesthetics. Let's hit this. I will also send this for version 6 and see what happens. So a reversed Egyptian pyramid prompt didn't really work. We have a normal Egyptian pyramid, not a reversed one. And it's same for both models. So I was looking for something more unusual and unorthodox, but I didn't get this result in my first try. Again, if you have more time, we can really add more descriptions and more details and what we want. But I just want to test the models as how good they are with also not only with long prompts, but also with short prompts. So for this one, I didn't get what I wanted. I have another prompt for unusual semantics, a layered cake in the style of landscape by Eric Madigan Heck. Let's try this one. So I got very good results for both models. Maybe version 6 did a little bit better with the landscape elements because I can see more clear layers of a landscape here. Next challenge is about long word clusters with rich detailed descriptions. So we have a young couple in their 20s from China. They are dressed in white. They stand in their home displaying range of emotions, laughter, tears. And behind them there is another scene of a living space filled with white plastic trash bags and torn white paper rolls. There's quite a lot of stuff is happening in this prompt. It's a long prompt. Let's run this for both versions. I got good results for both models. I think I got the white dress, I got the background and details. So I have another description. For this one, I have fashion photo of a man wearing a t-shirt with blue and purple polka dots and a brown hoodie. I didn't specify the relationship of hoodie to t-shirt. I think models should be clever enough to understand that hoodie should be outside and t-shirt should be inside. And I have a rich description, a very specific requirement. Let's hit enter. Okay, so I'm quite impressed with version 6.1. I have t-shirt inside the hoodie and purple and blue polka dots clearly shown here, versus in version 6, I have a bit of chaos going on. Only in one of the examples I can see the t-shirt inside hoodie. The hoodie also looks strange. The cap looks like part of the t-shirt. It's not really clear for version 6 and my requirement is not really well processed. But for version 6.1, I see a clear improvement. In the next challenge, things will get a little bit chaotic because I will throw a bunch of random word clusters to the model and see what happens. And when you look at these keywords here, they are not necessarily connected to each other. They are a bit random. They can be connected, but model needs to try to understand and make sense out of it. So you can see we have a cyberpunk photo, vermilion anachronism, futuristic fragmentations, translucency, layered compositions. We have tattoos, implants, and diamonds, and we have a lot going on, and this is not necessarily a well-crafted prompt, but I just want to test it and see what happens. I think both models did a good job here, and to be fair, I don't think the result and difference is really conclusive here. I can see much more diversity for version 6, that's clear in my tests. But with this crowded prompt, version 6.1 also did well. I see braids, I see tattoos, implants, and the cyberpunk is much more visible in version 6.1. Versus in version 6, maybe my words are picked randomly, and one has a little bit more translucency, one has a little bit more cyberpunk. I think in version 6.1, I have a stronger influence of cyberpunk. Okay, last challenge is for testing world knowledge of the models. I will have a cinematic photo of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, and we expect him in sci-fi armor in a futuristic city. Let's hit enter. So we have results. For those of you who don't know Tanjiro character from Demon Slayer, he looks like this. And for this prompt, I use Midjourney aesthetics with stylize. And when I look back at the results, I think similarity is not 100%. In version 6, so we see the Tanjiro scar here. We also see it in version 6.1, the scar here. We definitely clearly see a sci-fi armor in a futuristic city. So I think both models did a good job. It's just in version 6.1, actually we got more of the scar is represented more, and 3 of the images in the grid, there is already much more similarity to Tanjiro in comparison to version 6. I mean, version 6 also did a good job, but I think I like the results more from version 6.1. So let's look at the overall evaluation and improvement score for natural language understanding. Looking at the 6 challenges I made with multiple prompts and in variety of parameters, I saw 3 strong improvement points for version 6.1, multi-character rendering, fashion and outfit descriptions understanding, and world knowledge. Considering in 3 of the 6 challenges, new version was clear winner for me. So that's why for natural language understanding, my improvement score will be medium. But we can also say medium to high. It's already huge improvement with multi-character rendering and fashion and outfit descriptions. We will continue with our next metric, which is photorealism. It's about how close are we to a real photo taken by a camera and how realistic output looks like. For this challenge, I choose prompts for maximizing photorealism and bringing macro details closer to the scene. Images should look much more realistic and detailed, especially skin realism. Since Midjourney team also mentioned that there is improvement with animal and plant realism, I will use variety of wildlife and underwater photography prompts together with macro photography to bring macro details to life and render details of texture. So let's start with challenge 1, which is gonna be a wildlife photography prompt, extreme macro shot of an eye of a beautiful red fox in the style of National Geographic. So here's the output from version 6.1, and here's the output from 6. And I can say both versions did a really good job with the fox eye. In the version 6.1, maybe I see slightly more details in the eye structure, but I think it's really inconclusive to say something. They are pretty close to each other. Let's try another prompt. I have macro photography, extreme macro shot of tiger fur, minimalist beauty, moody lighting, perfect curves, intricate details, and this time I also added chaos parameter to see maybe more of a variety of results. So it's quite interesting. First look is, yes, I can definitely see tiger fur here. This really tells me that this is from a tiger. Here we have also similar results, but the texture looks much better here. I think for this prompt, version 6 did a better job when it comes to macro photography. I want to repeat the same challenge, this time with snake skin. Let's see. So for snake skin, I think version 6.1 did a better job. I can't say neither of the models actually failed miserably. I think both of the models did a good job. This is from version 6. It's a clear snake skin. When I look at the texture, I feel like version 6.1 did a better job with snake skin texture. I have another prompt, wildlife photography in the jungle, capturing a lion laying down near a water source, high humidity during golden hour. Let's take a look at the results here and compare for both models. For this chilling lion, I think both models did a good job, except here maybe the anatomy of lion seems a little bit. For version 6.1, the anatomy of lion looks strange. This one is fine, but when I compare like anatomy here, I just have a feeling that in the first try, version 6 did a better job with the anatomy of the lion. 6.1 is not bad, but from anatomy perspective, this looks a little bit odd. This time I want to try a koala prompt because koalas are simply amazing. Okay, here we have much better anatomy. I have my cute koalas for both models. And from the first look, I just have a feeling that the texture and fur of the koala look much better. The realism look much better than, let's say, version 6. 6.1 did much better job. It just looks much more realistic. For next challenge, I want to run an underwater photo prompt, and I want to use this time default Midjourney aesthetics with stylized parameter here. I have results from both models, and I think both models did a quite good job, except here again the textures and details maybe look slightly more realistic for version 6.1. These textures and patterns, they also look good for version 6 as well, but maybe I have sharper and much more clear textures and details in the version 6.1. Now for challenge 2, actually I want to look at human photos and portraits and skin realism and textures, and I really want to see some improvement for not having that stock image feeling, but more of a natural looking skins. I would like to use a portrait photography prompt. I have a portrait photography captures the moment when a tribal female warrior adorned with an intricate paint of feathers gazes intently into the distance, surrounded by lush, otherworldly jungle. We have quite impressive results from new version. I cannot fully see the skin realism that I was looking for, whereas for results for version 6.1 looks absolutely stunning. They look great, but when it comes to skin realism, I am not really fully 100% seeing the realism that I was looking for. We have some great results from both of the models. When it comes to realism, V6 was already quite a big jump in comparison to version 5, and I was quite impressed with the results. This one has quite a bit of this airbrushed effect. So realism here is not that amazing. The painting looks great. I think version 6, for this particular prompt at least, did a better job when it comes to skin realism. The results here are not bad at all, but I still feel a bit of airbrush effect in version 6.1. Let's try another prompt before we come into any conclusion with this challenge. We have iPhone photography, close-up shot of any Scandinavian girl by the sea, beautiful sunlight, smooth light. I'm not observing a massive jump from version 6 when it comes to skin realism. I think both of the models are doing a good job with this. So when it comes to this challenge, I think it's difficult to say that skin realism is dramatically improved. I want to try one last prompt. So I have cinematic editorial photo, elderly man with wrinkles and warm smile enjoying his morning coffee at a diner. I'm super happy with the amount of realism and skin realism I'm getting from version 6.1. I think it does a great job, but version 6 realism looks much better for me. It looks much more realistic at this point when it comes to skin. So for this challenge, I don't have stock image feeling, of course, from version 6.1, but improvement is also not that drastic. When it comes to photorealism, I want to look at smoke, grass, water, paint realism. I prepared a couple of prompts for this. Cinematic extreme, macro photo of smoke, minimalist beauty, perfect curves, intricate details. Okay, this is super interesting. When it comes to smoke realism, I think version 6.1 did much better job. And I can clearly see the curves and details. And I'm impressed with version 6.1. And I have a feeling that minimalist beauty was much more prominent, much more influential in the final result than version 6.1. But if you ask me which one looks better for you, I would say version 6.1 did a better job when it comes to smoke realism. Okay, I want to try something similar, but this time I'm not mentioning minimalist. I didn't add that keyword. Let's send this. And this time I want to check the grass realism. I think both models did well, but I just feel like version 6 had much sharper results. For this prompt, it's spot on with version 6, did much better job. Of course, it can be a random thing. We could repeat it. I mean, textures here looks also really stunning and amazing. I'm in between. I think it's a tight race. I want to also test water realism. Another prompt, macro photos of sea. Let's remove minimalist beauty. I think for this prompt, we have quite a bit of inconclusive results. They both look good. We got the close-up shot of sea. We have sunny day, the colors, the paintings dripping down. And let's see, let's try to understand realism of fluidity. This is from version 6.1. And we have also version 6. Again, I think it's a very, very close race. It's difficult to say which model did a better job. But I can say I like the fluidity more in the version 6. But this definitely doesn't mean that version 6.1 failed to deliver. I think both models are doing a good job with this. Last challenge is going to be about realism of debris and particles. I have this prompt. Cinematic POV shot, a tornado is destroying a city. Camera goes to close up to debris. Heavy storm and objects flying everywhere. And we want to see all these debris and particles and everything. Let's compare results. This is version 6.1. We have tornado, we have debris and objects flying everywhere. We have also lighting and storm. And this is from version 6. We have all of the details as well. Again, I feel like they are very close. The both models did a very good job. So my overall evaluation and improvement score for photorealism metric, I saw sharper images and improved realism for animal image renderings. We saw in the koala image, in the turtle image, the patterns and fur looked definitely much more realistic and sharper. I have not observed improved realism for human skin, for portrait photos, and there was not much improvement for that. But considering all of the above, my improvement score for photorealism is low because we see only improvement when it comes to realism with animal images. And we know that based on feedback coming from version 6.1, it's going to be a follow-up version next month, which is going to be version 6.2. I'm expecting much more improvements in version 6.2 when it comes to realism, especially with skin realism and human faces. By the way, if you are enjoying this so far, give a thumbs up to the video and subscribe to my channel for more Midjourney tutorials. Next metric is accuracy of details. It's about how well model renders images with greater details, and these details are more likely to be accurate and AI defect-free. For this metric, I prepared 8 challenges: hands and feet anatomy challenge, correct depiction of a witch on a broom, bow and arrow challenge, umbrella and cigarette challenge, better faces at distance, art gallery, team sports, and generative AI nightmare, artistic gymnastics. Let's get started with first challenge, hands and feet anatomy. For this, I have this prompt, photo of hands above playing piano. So version 6.1, we have quite good results of clear depiction of hands, except here we have piano keyboards and hands position is off here. But rest actually did a good job. I have another anatomy challenge. Photo extreme low angle shot, woman's foot in high heels, puddle in the street, reflections of city lights at night in the puddle. I go for star raw and I go for 16:9 aspect ratio. So we have version 6.1, high heels, the puddle, reflections. Here we have a bit of a different position while walking. Here in the details, there's a bit of a problem, but the rest seems fine. Another challenge for hand anatomy. Photo of an old man eating a burger in the restaurant. It's a strange grip of the burger. The hand anatomy is fine, but how hand is gripping the burger is a bit off. Nobody holds burger like this. So this is a bit strange. Similar issue here again with how hand is holding the burger is a bit off. It's also strange photo. Again here, I think our burger has no meatball inside. And actually, he has more than one sandwich. So this is also strange. Okay, I can see here there was a bit of a struggle. And it's not about actually struggle with the anatomy itself. The hand depiction is fine, but the relationship of hand and the object seems a little off. But next challenge is gonna be about one of my favorites. And in old times of generative AI, this was actually quite a bit of an issue. Nowadays, it's much more easier. It's my all-time favorite, photo of a witch on a broom. Let's try this one. Except one simple error here. This looks quite good. Okay, we can say this one is okay. Let's take a look at the next challenge, which is gonna be close-up shot of an Indian woman holding a bow and arrow ready to shoot. Our purpose with these challenges is trying to understand how accurate the details are with anatomy, with holding objects, with details. Here we have a little bit of off. Also here it seems things are off. This looks also strange. Okay, 1/4. 1 success over 4 in the grid. It's not so bad, but I was expecting something better. And here nail seems extremely small in comparison to other nails, which is another problematic point. But I remember when I tried version 6 first time, in the first run with this prompt, the results were actually much better. We can maybe quickly also test it again against version 6. All right, for version 6, I think this is a pretty bad idea to hold the arrow like this. So it wouldn't really work out fine for her. This can be considered okay-ish. I think this is fine. I can accept this as an accurate. And here, yeah, this also looks, I think, okayish, except the feathers of the arrow is off here, but it's okayish. In first run, I think I had much more success in the version 6 on the grid than version 6.1 when it comes to bow and arrow challenge. I have another challenge similar to this, which is umbrella and cigarette challenge. Let's try that one. So I have this prompt here, cinematic photo, high angle shot, woman holding umbrella and smoking a cigarette, crane shot. Let's hit it. So when it comes to version 6.1, I'm happy that I got the high angle shot. As I mentioned in my prompt, I got this crane shot, so that is okay. The accuracy of details though are quite problematic. So you can see we have some off here. We have also the head outside of umbrella situation. This can be considered okay, but I think the length, the size of the subject is off here. And this is not a crane shot or a high angle shot, but I think it's a good photo. First of all, I think it's pretty and the accuracy of details are quite okay. The cigarette and umbrella. I will repeat this prompt in close-up shot as well, just to see the further details and accuracy. But yeah, it didn't do so amazing. And V6 is actually better. First of all, with V6, this is definitely not a high angle shot and it's not a crane shot. But if we accept that, okay, from like close-up shot perspective, yes, details of cigarette and details of hand holding an umbrella is very much okay. So I think when it comes to accuracy of details, V6 did a better job here than version 6.1. And here there's no cigarette. But I want to use the same prompt with version 6.1. This time, not a crane shot or high angle shot, but actually a close-up shot. My purpose with this is I would like to see accuracy of fingers holding the umbrella and cigarettes. So I want to see all these details. All right, we have version 6.1. Good job here, though we don't see the hand holding umbrella. Okay, this is quite okay, except the fact that I think she would still get a lot of rain due to the position of umbrella, so that can be considered off. This one is a good shot. Cigarette is a little too huge, but I think it's fine. Maybe there is a bit of a problem here. It almost looks like her head is morphed into the umbrella. But overall, this one here, well, yeah, the similar issues here again, position of umbrella is off. Cigarette is fine though. So with this challenge, I think I'm happy with the prompt understanding than how crane shot was reflected in version 6.1, but I'm not super happy with the accuracy of details when it comes to fingers and details of the umbrella and position of umbrella. Next challenge is about faces at a distance. So my purpose with next challenge is I want to see a bunch of people in the distance, not close up. And I want to see how accurate their faces look like and how clear their faces look like. And if there is like any morphing into each other's situation or AI defects, etc. So for this job, I have this prompt, cinematic 1917, editorial photography. Women and men are worshipping, kneeling, detailed faces, praying, film grain and mud colors. So let's see. So from first look for version 6.1, I got this image where the faces look okayish. And this one, I have one issue here. And I think rest is looking fine. It's a good shot. Here in this big crowd, you can see the faces are not so clear, but the ones who are clear also not super accurate. I think details are off, and here faces are kind of covered, and the visible ones are also off. When it comes to V6, I have 3 faces here. Look okay. Same, 3 faces. Rest is blurred. Difficult to say something. Here, almost no face visible. The visible ones in the distance, not so clear. But because of the smoke detail, I accept that. Here, I have quite distorted faces in this image. The ones in front can be considered okay, but probably details are still off, and there is quite a lot of distortion. I think it's a close, tight race here. For me, the winner is not super clear. I may consider just looking at this image a slight improvement with faces at distance, but probably I need to test this further. It's not super easy to see the improvement. I have another prompt. Documentary photography editorial celebration in Ghana, freedom, hope, independence, and a camera name. Okay, I have another prompt that I want to test. Documentary photography editorial, group of people from Ghana are celebrating freedom, hope, independence. So again, similar challenge, faces at distances, and see how they are rendered. Images are ready. We have there is a bit of a struggle. Here, there is definitely a distortion. The hands are off also here when it comes to V6. So I'm actually quite impressed with this image here. I think faces look all right, mostly. This image is quite good. There are some blurred faces here. And this is version 6.1, and we have version 6. I think both models did a good job here. I would say this is inconclusive. It's difficult to say there's a huge improvement here. So next challenge is an art gallery. And for this challenge, model needs to render art inside art, people, and details of surroundings. It's a quite good challenge for generative AI because there are so much things happening in art galleries. So I have results for art gallery challenge. I can see there is a bit of a distortion here. Rest seems fine. We have quite a lot of people in this image. I see faces are distorted. Here faces don't look visible that much, but I can say that diversity of arts represented here is quite cool. And it's similar to the previous image here. Again, from a distance, there is quite a lot of distortion on the faces. You can see one here and more distortions here. Again, diverse arts all over everywhere. When it comes to version 6, well, here actually we see quite okay faces. Some distortion here in the distance. I can see here also. This one looks quite good because faces are not visible, obviously, but it's a good shot. Here, I think we have one visible face, seems okayish, a little bit blurred though, and same issue here. People at distance, some anatomy issues are visible. Yeah, for this challenge, art gallery, I don't think there's a huge improvement for 6.1. The next challenge is what I call team sports. And I want to make it very clear that I think images we saw so far, they are still impressive, right? This is like generative AI. We are still in the early days, and I'm always impressed. But just for fun, we want to challenge models a little bit. The team sports challenge is one of them because it's a big challenge for generative AI. You have volleyball players, you have audience, you have net, volleyball net, and there are so much movements and action is happening. So I think it's a quite interesting challenge. And I want to try this with new models and see how well they perform. And of course, I'm not being perfectionist. It's more about seeing the limits of the model. And I want to run the same prompt with version 6 as well. I can see already there is a little bit of distortion with the faces. Same issue here. There is no volleyball net rendered. Here, volleyball net rendered, but there is some issues with the faces, and anatomy here as well is off. And yeah, here volleyball net is in the wrong position, but still impressive. Looking at V6, well, this could have been fine, but there is a problem with gravity, and there are 3 balls in the scene. Same issue here. Volleyball net is too huge. Both teams are having same jerseys, and anatomy is off here. Maybe this one could have been good, but here her leg is inside of the volleyball net. So, and there are two balls. Well, I mean, it's fun, you know, like I'm not expecting a perfect shot here. I know it's not so easy, but still fun to try. And my last challenge will be generative AI's nightmare, artistic gymnastics. It's again similar to team sports. There's a lot of stuff happening. Anatomy needs to be correct, and the details of the pitch and the details of the sports need to be correct. So you can see I have this prompt photo of a female gymnast in a pommel horse, and it's a full body shot. So let's see how well 6.1 will do. I can't really see the pommel horse on the scene, but from like artistic gymnastics perspective, I think here it is okayish. This can be totally an advertising for a sports brand. We have some anatomy issues here. And this again seems like not really clear what type of sport this is, but I think it's okay. And yeah, we have, I think, some anatomy issues here as well. This is okay. So by the way, this is version 6. This could be considered okay, but probably proportions are off here again. And yeah. Okay, so is this a gymnastics shot? I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but it can be used in your workflow. It's not perfect. We didn't see the pommel horse, but at least we saw a full body shot. So I think for both models, there's still a long way to go. So looking at overall results, I have not observed in version 6.1 a huge improvement when it comes to accuracy of details. There is definitely the depiction of hands, quite good, of course, but relationship of hands in comparison to other objects, the grip, and the context and coherence is still, there's still room for improvement for this. And actually, it was pretty similar in version 6, and 6.1 is not a huge improvement yet. I'm hoping maybe with version 6.2, improvement will be much more drastic. But for now, my improvement score for accuracy of details is low. I want to also take a look at quickly to text accuracy, because in the press release, it was mentioned that text accuracy is improved. Let's test this. Product photography, hot sauce with brand Jungle Fire in a cactus bed. Let's send this prompt to version 6.1. Okay, that's cool. I see better contrast for the text, and it looks much sharper. Okay, this is written 2 times, so there is still a little bit of off. Let's also compare this to version 6. So comparing text accuracy to version 6, version 6.1 text looks much more sharper, it's much more clear, and there is definitely less mistake in comparison to version 6. You can see we had much more issues in the grid. I can't even see fire, for example. It just says jungle. Here we have fire, but also jungle here. There were already 3-4 mistakes in the grid, whereas here in version 6.1, we had quite accurate branding and much sharper looking text. So from this perspective, I would say improvement for text accuracy is high, but of course it's not perfect. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about workflow improvements, because it was mentioned in the press release that roughly 25% faster image generation for standard jobs, and I can definitely observe this. In my generations throughout with version 6.1, it was extremely fast to generate images, and this already brings significant amount of advantage to my workflow. It speeds my process up. So from workflow perspective, I think speed and velocity is already a huge improvement for version 6.1. When it comes to other workflow improvements, I haven't tested image prompting, character reference, and style reference for version 6.1 yet. And of course, I need to deep dive into these as well. to have a better overall understanding and idea for workflow. So hopefully this video was helpful for you to explore Midjourney version 6.1. Join our Cyber Jungle community by subscribing for more mind-blowing tutorials. If you want to learn more about Midjourney and AI filmmaking, click here.